The Amityville Horror, based on true events. Well, what can you say? It's a good movie. Now, we're reviewing the original film here and not the remake, although I probably will want to cover that another year. But I have to say, this film and the story of what happened here was so unique, I couldn't help but cover it. And I think you'll find that it's a good addition to the 13 Days of Halloween, especially since we're doing ghosts this year. Why not? The film has a lot going for it, and a lot that is just amazing. Now, to be fair, this is a product of its time, and it does show. But they did a lot of good here, too. Margot Kidder, James Brolin, they were amazing in this film. They do these great looks, these feelings. It was a great film. And I love the fact that in the case of James Brolin, Josh Brolin's father, we saw him actually inhabit this role, and he went from this loving, caring man into this complete, almost sickly looking psychopath. It was incredible. And Margot Kidder herself, she went through so many changes in the film as well. These two had great chemistry. It was fantastic. And is it scary? Well, by today's standards, it probably wouldn't be that scary. But it still has its moments where it will get anybody's attention. And that's what I think still works. And, I mean, wow. Now, I should also point out that this film is based more directly on Jay Anson's novel, except in certain areas where the technology just did not exist to even remotely put what was in the book and I believe what the Lutzes actually experienced. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer here, as I do think something did happen in this house with the real event. Now, I'm putting this as a disclaimer because a lot of people think it's a complete fake. But let's be fair. Anytime you get Ed and Lorraine Warren involved, Hans Holzer and a couple of other people, something has happened. They are pretty good people. And they're also notorious for trying to debunk something first. This helps make the story better. Plus, there is one thing that I'm going to go over in a bit before we end the video, and that is the priest's scene. But before that, let's continue with the review. First of all, this is a great film, and it's not something that I find being super aggressive or hateful or, something I would not recommend to kids. Again, you have to be, at least in my opinion, over 10 years of age, and your parents have to sign off on this to see it. Otherwise, hey, you're probably going to watch it anyways. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube and stuff. Hint, hint. Anyways, great film. Well done. And it looks good still to this day. I cannot help but feel impressed with it. Now, it wasn't just James Brolin and Margot Kidder that sold this film. The priest sold this film. The kids sold this film. The extra characters. The fact that they did all of this stuff and so much felt real. And who can forget, of course, the blood coming from the staircase and other things. I mean, this was an incredible film in that regard. And it made you just feel everything. Now, this is just great. And to be fair, while Margot Kidder and James Brolin do look a lot better looking than the real life George and Kathy Lutz, they still are close enough that you get this yeah, I can believe that. And there's the whole point with Ronald DeFeo Jr. They don't really go into it too much in this film or into some of the background. And I think this is great too because it creates that air of mystery, which you don't get too often with films anymore. You don't know what's going on. It's scarier when you don't know what's going on. The film has all these great climax sequences, and I think it's really good. Plus, let's check out that priest scene, because I do want to comment on that very much. is one of those unique scenes. Now, why is it so unique? Because I think the real life story of what happened here, the one story that never changed, was what the priest said. Now, he stated, and by the way, putting your hand on a Bible and actually testifying before a court of law, that he not only went into that room to bless it, but stated it was a lovely day outside. Yes, it was winter, middle of December, but it was still a lovely day outside. He then heard a voice say, "Get out." He was then basically bitch slapped by something that wasn't there. He felt something slap him, and there was nobody there. I did add the bitch slap part. But basically, if you've got a demon or a spirit that is brave enough to bitch slap the clergy, you might want to get the hell out. I mean it too. I would not stick there. Not one bit. Now, this was the one story that never changed. Not at all. And it came from a respectable person. Father Ralph Pecoraro. I hope I'm saying the last name right. He was usually just called Father Ray. This film shows him there the first day they move in, just like in real life. Now, in the remake, he comes much later, and they built a unique new storyline into that. I gotta say, though, this film was done so well in many areas. Now, you have the whole story with the priest. You have the descent into madness. You have great acting, by the way, and then you have these subtle visual effects, even makeup effects, that are done so well. The film really does build well on itself. It's one of the few things that has kept the Amityville Horror such a unique and great film. I also have to say that for this Blu-ray edition right here, no 4K edition. In fact, I'm going to look at the case real quick to give you an idea. For God's sakes, get out. But, as it turns out, there's nothing here that says it was mastered in 4K. Now, some other movies are now being mastered in 4K, but still, this is great. Also, I want to show you this on the inside, too. That is pretty freaking cool. Oh, sorry. There you go. That's pretty cool. All right. So, what did I think of the film? Really good. Really well done. I'm going to give it a strong 8 out of 10 with a recommendation. This is a more adult film, so I really do recommend for anybody above 10 to 13 years old. Parents' discretion advised. So, that being said, now then. Yes, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But maybe I'll leave you with one more thing. Yeah.